Wind, by the way, is forecast to come up a little bit tomorrow from the north, which might affect the standard of play at the MCG, although of course we do have those stands still around the cricket ground, despite the fact the southern stand does have the roof off it. But the northerly today, not a problem.
Langdon and Waterman coming across to the bench for the West Coast Eagles, and it seems like Turner. And who's he waiting for? Jamie Turner's coming off for Collingwood. As yet, no one has joined him. Manson's gone down to a forward pocket.
Manson coming off, Dennis.
And now he's taking the long route around. He leaves the ground in the forward pocket, so a little
subterfuge.
Yes, ducks and drakes. The Magpies and Eagles.
And Michael Roberts tells me no love lost between the captains before they tossed the coin. It might be a rather physical start.
Well, Taylor at full forward to Peter, and Gavin Brown alongside him in that forward pocket with Guy McKenna picking him up.
It's the first quarter of the 1990 qualifying final from VFL Park. Collingwood and the West Coast Eagles. Monkhurst gets the first tap down. Malaxos, the first kick of the game, up the half forward. And that's a Collingwood mark. Mainwaring and Mullane. And Darren Mullane doing so well last week. Despite the thumb injury, not a long kick from the Collingwood winger, Graham Wright. No trouble taking the mark on left centre wing. That's the ball moving quickly to Russell. Russell just inside the boundary line, again going short. Richardson taking the mark in front of his opposite number 13 in Scott Watters. And again the short game. Lewis just a little bit late to stop Starcevic marking, and 2:28 there as well. Monkhurst at midfield. Well, a lot of possessions, Bernie. They haven't gained much.
No, they're messing around a little bit, Peter, and the forward line very crowded now.
Predictably. Won't matter. Irving has the mark. Give the Eagles players certainly a chance to settle down. Big punch away. Brown almost. Worsfold put the body in well. Watters have to get a kick at it pretty quickly. A real up and under job. Determination needed here. Shot at goal by McGuan. Taylor, right on the post, has taken the grab. Now it'll be interesting to see what sort of an angle we'll be on. I would suggest pretty close to the boundary line.
Yeah, the crowd love it.
Yeah, a bit of pushing there, but Brian Taylor with his strength and use of the body will be a worry for the West Coast Eagles, especially in these fine conditions.
He is right on the boundary line, Brian Taylor. He's kicked them from there before. He was having some goal-kicking practice just a few minutes back before we started. Hits the post. First score of the game to Collingwood.
Interesting also, Dennis, it looks as if Chris Lewis was picking up Peter Dacos.
That's come about because Dacos started in the centre square, Bernie. At the first bounce. Move. Yeah. So here's Michael Brennan to bring it in. What a glorious day. He goes straight up the middle. Monkhurst in from the side. Off hands. McGuan's hand pass was charged down. Shaw did well in a tight situation. McGuan cleverly. Richardson's hand pass into the path of Francis. Almost held without it. Play goes on. Barwick bumped off it. McGuan comes back. Dangerous customer, this fellow. Pulls it back across his body. Off hands and through for a minor score. All Collingwood so far. Not a bad crowd either. Close to capacity. Brennan goes short. Nest of Eagles. This is Watters. Up towards half-back. Call to play on. It's a good kick. Rance was surrounded, but he took the mark. 3 Collingwood players in all directions, but Rance, aided by that kick, goes to the outer side. Hart couldn't hang on. This is White. Now he can run. Away he goes. Down towards left half 40. Checks. Settles. Goes towards the 50-metre line. On the lead, Brown.
Well, a good two-pronged attack up there at the moment with Brown and Taylor, and so far it's working. Here's the other one. And Brian Taylor's second shot will be almost the same as the first, but just a little bit further out.
It's about the same angle, Peter, but from about 25-30 metres out. He is capable of kicking these goals, though, Brian Taylor.
He hit the post with the first one. Just having a quick look to the side to see if anybody was unchecked. That's not the case. 30 metres out. Might be out of bounds on the full. It is. So 2 shots from Brian Taylor, a poster, and out of bounds on the full. Magpies not making the most of their opportunities so far. But no wind advantage. Rance kicks in. Irving in front. Monkhurst punches clear. McGuan slaps it further forward. Mullane hand pass into open space for Shaw. Back to McGuan. His 4th possession, and that's barely the required distance for Starcevic, who last week kicked atrociously early and then came up with some bombs. What can he do here? 50 metres out. Off target. Be behind or out of bounds. It's the former. So a point to the Maggies. 3 behinds. The West Coast still yet to score.
And it looks as if Murray Rance is now playing at full back. So Michael Malthouse quick to make that move, and Brennan out to centre half back on Starcevic.
Rance kicks outside the defensive 50. Monkhurst got a fist on it. Francis couldn't control it. McGuan's been in everything. Monkhurst. This is Lewis. Clever hand pass. Lamb's away alongside the centre circle. Kicks towards centre half forward. Keane got a hand to it. Controls it well on the ground. Hurried kick. Vacant goal square. It skews away to the left and bounces out of bounds in the pocket. First attack by the West Coast Eagles, apart from the first kick of the game, which was marked by Darren Mullane.
It's settled down. Dacos back on the forward line now, picked up by Johnny Worsfold.
Laurie Keane. Monkhurst. It falls at their feet. Heady going nowhere, held to him, and will have a bounce.
It's a kind of desperation and tackling Lee Matthews would be looking for in these finals too.
The Magpies are 3 points. The Eagles yet to score. Keane only as far as Shaw, in deep trouble. Morwood still over the ball, slaps it out. Down goes Keane. And another bounce. Laurie Keane. Second game of the season. Did quite well at Cardinia Park last Saturday. In front, Monkhurst does well over the top. Lamb went down. Brasiska cleverly. Morwood's got the run of it hard against the boundary line. Lewis came to meet him. And the ball goes out of bounds to be thrown in just inside the attacking 50 for the Eagles, the attacking side of left half forward. Keane, Monkhurst again. They fight a draw. McGrath in trouble. Jarred free, Mainwaring. Pios with some time now. Centering kick. Collingwood in best position down there. They surround the ball. Kemp took one high. This is Hart. Pushed off it well by Wright. Loose ball now. Still Hart. Morwood stopped it effectively. Taken by Kemp.
The hurried hand pass out to Lamb. And the shot at goal by the Eagles tagger is off target. It is their first score. Lamb's still wearing that pretty heavy brace, isn't it, on his arm, because he only broke it. I think it was the Melbourne game, wasn't it, Dennis?
Only about 3 weeks ago, Dennis,
yep.
wasn't it?
Yep,
Had
it was.
a plate inserted in that arm.
That's
Jim
an amazing
Steins.
recovery. Ron McEwen to kick in. Doesn't take the full distance allotted to him in the square. Lewis from behind did well, perhaps not so there. Malaxos, Mainwaring, can't get the ball out. Holding the ball, that's tough.
You're right, Pete. Very tough decision there. Mainwaring, the player making the play and given very little opportunity.
Monkhurst decides to run. Now he gives it to Wright, who can. He's got a paddock to move in. Passes from still inside the square. Ransom Taylor. And Taylor showing some toe on Worsfold, who dives on top of it. Similar situation developing. Dacos calling forward is Wright. He doesn't let him down. Barely the required distance for a mark. Wright's kick, an up and under job. Dacos made position well. Goes back. Snapshot. Looks good. First goal of the match. And a fight develops. Taylor directing traffic like a policeman. And that's all over, but the score stands as we watch the pass again.
Yes, in replay, Graham Wright, the player that really set that up for Collingwood, bringing the ball out of the back line and also making excellent position to receive the ball again and pass it on to Dacos.
1-3 to a behind. Malaxos tries to slap it out. Lewis couldn't control it. Francis kicks the wrong way. Francis towards half forward. Thank you. Hetty. McGrath. Now Hart an opportunity. Hart. Chip pass across towards Malaxos. How will it sit for him? Not well. It bounced away from him. Tony Shaw storming up the ground. McGuan now. Short of centre wing. Pushed off the kick. Barwick's in front. Fumbles. Still it's Barwick. Close to the centre circle. He's got the run of it. Kicks out wide towards left half forward. The moving target supplied down there by Brown. He battles with McKenna. Surely a free kick for Brown. Not forthcoming. And the umpire's going to ball it up.
It's good pressure though applied by McKenna, and it could have, in the end, it could have went McKenna's way because the ball trapped under Gavin Brown.
There's the bounce. Starcevic. Kemp. The defensive side of right half back across his body, gives it away straight to Richardson. Richardson forward of centre wing towards the pocket. Brown's the target. McKenna goes back. Brown. No mark. Yes, it's going to be paid. Did he pay it for the mark or a push?
I think he paid the mark, didn't he, Dennis?
A little charitable.
I think it was too, Pete. It wasn't a mark in the end. Gavin Brown didn't control this. He loses it there. Maybe a free kick could have been paid because it looked a little bit high there from Guy McKenna.
Gavin Brown. Well, we talked about the pressure coming in, the pressure on these Collingwood players. Certainly in evidence with Tony Francis kicking the wrong way with some time. You don't often see that. Gavin Brown deep in the left full forward pocket. Good looking kick. That's a beauty. Collingwood get their second. They're 2-3 and the Eagles are a point.
Yes, very good kick there by Gavin Brown, but again they're attacking into the pockets. The two kicks from Brian Taylor have been on very difficult angles. That one not quite so tight there from Gavin Brown, but still about 40 metres out and on a fairly acute angle, so they're making it difficult for themselves from the angle they're attacking the goal.
14 points the difference. 16 minutes left in the quarter. The Eagles need a steadier. Not that much in it yet. Worsfold goes in. Didn't have much sight for the ball. Pios gets the ball back to midfield. Maybe McGrath can mount something from the circle. To half forward. That's a good mark to Mainwaring. Thought about playing on but couldn't. Gaffer stands the mark solidly. He's gone short, and in the end it's come off because Keane shouldn't have much trouble getting the distance from there. We know what he can kick. The accuracy we'll wait on.
Yes, that's bad checking though by the Collingwood defenders. Morwood looking at Monkhurst and Monkhurst looking at Morwood. They weren't sure who should have been picking up Laurie Keane.
48 metres out. Keane shot at goal. And it looks pretty good. It's the Eagles first. Just what they needed, Bernie. 2-3 to 1-1.
Yes, it certainly was, Pete. They needed to get a goal on the board and fairly soon because Collingwood have had most of the scoring opportunities. And Chris Mainwaring playing on the forward line, picked up by Michael Gaffer, a surprising move because he's mainly a winger, of course. But Pios playing on the wing on Darren Mullane, and well finished off by Laurie Keane. A good kick from 45 metres.
The Magpies lead by 8 points. Lewis comes away from the centre, and judging by that last goal kick by Laurie Keane, a fair bit of support for the Eagles here. Big roar around the ground. This is McEwen in trouble. Kicks it out wide. Mullane leads in the race. It goes out of bounds. Darren Mullane, best on ground at their last meeting at Victoria Park. Such a vigorous player. There's Carl Langdon, who started on the bench. With him is Chris Waterman. The two big men go at it again. Monkhurst at the second attempt, wide. Richardson storms away from half-back, kicks towards the middle. Starcevic alongside the centre circle. Brown is breaking for him. It's a very open forward line down there. It clears Brown and McKenna. Knocked away by Worsfold. McKenna's got the run of it. Sends play towards the outer side. Not a good kick. It's all Collingwood out there. Kelly storms up the ground. Hits the ground running. Gets the hand pass away to Mick McGuan. Forward of centre wing. Penetrating kick. Taylor goes back. Fisted away well down there by Rance. Irving's got the run of it. In the back pocket. Dean Irving towards half-back. Clever kick. And he finds Paul Pios.
Pios at the left half-back flank for the Eagles. Tries to get play moving quickly. Lamb is the target. And Lamb doesn't let him down. Monkhurst can't stop him. onto Turley. Short pass, attacking the grandstand flank. Kelly, good knock away. Krasiska at the fall of the ball, does well. Centres it. Barwick, strong grab. And Doug Barwick will put Collingwood back into attack, having a few words to Chris Lewis. Barwick, one of the best kicks in the side, certainly for distance. Is that interference? It is, says the umpire, and it will be a free kick to be taken by Gavin Brown, or is the advantage rule? It's not being paid. And Brown will take it inside the square. One of Collingwood's 2 goal kickers so far, he and Dacos. Short pass is on. Taylor gleefully accepting, marking in front of Murray Rance.
Well, Rance really not playing close enough to Taylor on that occasion, Dennis. He just gave him too much latitude, allowed Taylor to get that 5 to 10 metres break, and also the rest of the defenders not filling up the gaps.
Now, Taylor on a much better angle this time. 48 metres out, and again he has missed, and off the hands for out of bounds. So for his effort, Bernie, not too much result.
No, not good enough really, Peter, at this stage. He's had 3 opportunities. Well, the first one he probably should have kicked, the second one a little bit tougher, but you expect a full forward to kick those.
Boundary throw in. Rucks go at it. Starcevic over the top. Brennan nicely. Turley. Lamb's in trouble now. This is Brennan. The Eagles lucky to get out of that. Very open forward line for the Eagles. Heady with the run of it. Sumich on the burst. The kick goes down in that direction. Sumich gathers the bouncing ball. McEwen's got him, and it comes back to Heady. He settles. He goes goalward. He's got it.
Heady's first goal and the Eagles' seconds, and the scoreboard 2-3 to 2-1. The Magpies by 2 points.
Well, there's plenty of space on this ground. Make no mistake about that. Chris Mainwaring too far out to score. Now it's congested down the ground given the slow build-up. Mainwaring a high one down towards full forward. Keane's the target. He's got some company, as you saw, and the ball's fisted out of bounds and will be thrown in.
Yes, that was poor play by the Eagles. They really wasted far too much time bringing the ball across from the outer side of the ground to the members' side, and the kick from Mainwaring really gave Keane very little chance.
The Magpies lead by 4 points. Tony Shaw comes away from that pack, kicks towards the centre of AFL Park. Mick McGuan, they've got to mark him more closely. He's very unorthodox. He's a spare man really across the back line. He runs up the ground. He loves to run. He's doing it now. From centre wing, pulls it back for Gavin Brown. What a strong mark. Brown too far out to score. Goes for Taylor. Rance is closing. Back goes Worsfold. Dacos left unattended on the ground. Gets the hand pass to McGuan again. Right on the boundary line. Michael McGuan has kicked it behind.
But again, Dennis, they're leading into that forward pocket. Brian Taylor forcing the players further up the ground to kick into that forward pocket. He'd be far better leading straight up the ground. 5
points the difference in almost a lacklustre first quarter. One senses that something will happen soon. Monkhurst in front. Waters at the back. McKenna and right. McKenna gets clear. Wobbly kick. And indeed over the boundary line. Not on the foot. Very close to it. On centre wing. 4.5 minutes left in the quarter. Collingwood certainly have had much of the play on their forward line, but have been unable to convert. Monkhurst taps down. No one getting anywhere. Kelly in a good season, especially the latter half of it. McGuan surely a push in the back. And doesn't like the treatment meted out by Chris Lewis. Kelly again from a standing start at centre half back. Craig Kelly kicks to half forward again. Not a well-directed kick, certainly from Collingwood's point of view. Turley chips in well. Eagles doing the short things well. McGrath back to Pios. Pios kicking to half forward, but that's how it can come unstuck. And the mark to Shane Morwood. Transfers play to the grandstand side. Starcevic. Mullane. Irving in pursuit. Mullane kicking to half forward. Dacos was the target. Now Francis roving it well. Kemp rides him into the ground. Should be play on. Could have been a trip there to McKenna. The umpire says no. Worsfold. Might be a costly mistake that. Dacos can usually make something out of nothing. Now gets clear. He's already kicked one goal. Francis, will he get it? Yes, right in the pocket. And Brian Taylor to tell him how to kick from there. He's had 2 shots already from a similar position. With little result. A poster and out of bounds. And so for Collingwood's 3rd goal. Oh, gee. Is that a mark? That's very charitable, Bernie, if it is, isn't it?
Well, there's a couple of those being paid, and Gavin Brown again really didn't have control of that ball. Here it is again. We see this in replay. Gavin Brown once, twice, but he didn't control it. The umpire very quick with the whistle.
I was looking at Bill Della sitting next door. He shook his head. I wonder what that means. Gavin Brown for his 2nd goal. Being treated kindly by the umpires, it would seem. That's a goal. Great kick, Gavin Brown. So Collingwood gets some breathing space, close to quarter time, 3-6 to 2-1.
Yes, but they really haven't made the most of their opportunities on the forward line. Again, that pass into the forward pocket, finding Francis. Good play, though, this time by Francis to the leading Gavin Brown, and that's what they must do rather than try to kick those tight shots from the forward pocket on the 45-degree angles, or even a tighter angle than that. Gavin Brown there with a much more favourable angle to shoot at goal.
The Magpies lead by 11 points. Just over 2 minutes remaining in the first term. Waters going nowhere. Off the ground by Kemp. McGrath's got the run of it. In trouble, though. Dragged off it by Wright. Malaxis only as far as Dacos. Collingwood work it well again. This is Shaw around the outer side. He got it from Kelly. Kicks towards half forward. Brown couldn't hang on. Regains the ball superbly. Gavin Brown. Little chip pass out wide. Taylor's got the run of it now. Taylor running away from his own goal to Starcevic. The big fellow controlled it well. Still he goes. Back to Taylor. Wide of the mark though. McKenna comes through. Malaxis back to McKenna. On the burst away from half back. He kicks towards centre wing. Missed out there by Hart. Leads back in the race. Well played by Russell. Well picked up by Lewis. Short passes on. Hetty. Centre half forward Hetty. Goes looking for and finds Peter Sumich just inside the 50. Well, the story of the first term so far has been the inaccuracy of Collingwood and the performance of Michael McGuan. 16 possessions so far. He's been everywhere. The difference between the 2 teams. But Sumich can pull it back to 5 points. Kick is on its way. Has it got the carry? It looks good. That's a great kick. Collingwood are 3-6. The West Coast Eagles are 3-1.
It's 9 shots to 4, and yet the West Coast Eagles not that far behind. Only 5 points of difference. And they do move the ball very well into the forward line. They get the ball out of the back line. The running play from McKenna really setting that up, getting the ball very quickly out of the Collingwood forward line and transferring it down to where they had plenty of time and space for Sumich to make the lead, and a great kick from about 50 metres.
47 seconds left in the quarter, 3-6 to 3-1. Francis away from the circle, spears the pass up towards inside 50. Ball fisted clear. Starcevic. McGuan over the top. An amazing first quarter from that man. Scott Waters. Starcevic in pursuit, won't catch him. Up towards midfield, and Mick Gafer in front of Chris Lewis takes the safe mark. Still time for a score. Might have to be Collingwood. Dacos in front of Mainwaring. And they're wasting it. Clock ticking down. Malone onto Russell. Russell crossed the ground again to Monkhorst at half forward. Richardson gets ridden into the ground. Still they come. Starcevic, a real up and under kick, but they wasted it. 21 possessions to get it 20 yards, and at quarter time, Collingwood leading 3-6-24 in the qualifying final. The West Coast Eagles 3-1-19. Well, Dennis Cometti and Bernie Quinlan, I guess Collingwood deserves to be further in front than 5 points, 3-6 to 3-1.
Well, I suppose so, Pete, but really they wasted the ball on so many occasions. 96 possessions to 65 in favour of Collingwood, 34 marks to 18, and yet they're only 5 points up at quarter time. So many occasions they took the ball into that forward pocket and made it very difficult to kick goals. There's a goal that Dacos did kick with some clever running play down to the forward line, but on far too many occasions they are very static Not much movement on the forward line. Gavin Brown has been a good player, but they have made it very difficult. On the other hand, when the West Coast Eagles have been able to run the ball into the forward line, it has been very wide open and has given their running players with the skills the chance to kick goals.
I've got to say, I think the signs are quite encouraging as far as the West Coast Eagles are concerned as we take a look at those numbers, and probably they don't reinforce that, but by the same token there's only 5 points the difference. Collingwood certainly having more of the ball, centre breaks even, and obviously in today's football that's pretty important.
Let's go down to the boundary line to hear what the coaches had to say. Michael Roberts and Peter McKenna.
Well, I can assure you there was no love lost. A heap of words said in the Collingwood camp. Lee Matthews very critical of his forwards. Brian Taylor wasted a lot of opportunities there as he wants Starcevic to play up the ground to open the space, and you know, they really have to concentrate on scoring goals.
And Mick Malthouse said they're only 5 points behind. They haven't done much as yet. They've got a man up, chase, tackle, put the pressure on the Collingwood players, and he asked the backup support for Sumic down on the forward line.
Second quarter starts at VFL Park. The difference is 5 points. Mainwaring, first kick at the second term to put the Eagles into attack. Not a good kick. Craig Kelly, well collared by Hart. Lewis, a chance, dragged off it by the arm. And some skill, but just a little bit too slow to get rid of it. And kicks it too far for Hart. Right into the pocket. Gee, he was close to out of bounds. I assume it's taken that mark.
It was out of bounds, Pete.
It was out of bounds. Thank you, Bernie. I thought it might have been. Everybody stopped. So a boundary throw in.
Well, Laxos on the bench too. Interesting, Dennis.
Happened last week as well.
Yes.
Monkhurst and Keane.
Only 3 possessions in that first quarter to Malaxos.
Mainwaring had it and then lost it pretty quickly. Heady, Keane from a standing start. The snapshot is off target, bringing his personal tally to 1-1, and the Eagles to 3-2. 3-6 to 3-2. 4 points the difference in the qualifying final. Turner and Manson on the bench for the Pies. Ron McEwen to bring the ball back into play. McEwen favouring the grandstand side. Players scatter. The huddle at centre half back. Mullane was the target. Heady. Langdon taking the place of Malaxos, quite obviously, after a stint on the bench in the first quarter. And we'll see a throw in about 45 metres from goal. Kirsten Keane again down to Langdon. Now to Mainwaring, tackled well by McGuan, who had 10 kicks in the first quarter. Mullane at centre half back, the left half back flank, goes for the pass, effective. Starcevic, Francis, a high kick up to the square, and a chance for Turley.
He's got it now, Craig Turley. Floats one back towards half forward. Lewis, fisted away though by Gayfer. McGuan again. There's a string on the ball at the present time. Only as far as Irving though. Kept his head very well, the big man. Back towards half forward comes the kick yet again. In from the side, Monkhurst couldn't control it. Now he's tackled by Hart. They're going in pretty solidly. Shaw took a long time to get rid of it. Was given the time by the umpire too. Kelly, and then Shaw went down. Gayfer's got it now. Missing him was Langdon. Gayfer scrambles a kick back towards midfield. Brilliantly gathered in by Richardson. Richardson at full tilt. Does nicely. Gets around Wattles. Kicks towards half forward. They've got the numbers. Dacos will try and flick it out, but Worsfold goes off the ground. Had Dacos got it to the side, Mullane was free. Shaw's kick was charged down. Forced forward by Heady. It's taken now by McGrath. High kick towards half forward. Sumic comes out, but Krasiska stood tall. Across to Kelly goes the hand pass. Through centre the kick. Barwick stood his ground. Fisted away down there by Brennan. In goes Barwick. Slaps it out. Richardson couldn't control it. Bursting his way through is Brennan. Storms through the centre. Penetrating kick inside half forward. Gayfer lost the handle. Still he goes, Gayfer. Dragged down. Got it to Kelly. Untidy work came across towards Morwood. Now he's confronted by Hart. On his knees, he gives it back to Kelly. Kelly tip passes out wide and right has it.
You can sense they've lifted a gear in this quarter too, Dennis. Both sides going at it much harder.
Monkhurst. Still the short game, operative for both teams. Monkhurst at right half-back flank. Out to Russell on centre wing. Mullane seemingly always on his own. How does he do it? Dacos and McKenna. Dacos. Clean grab.
Well, the Eagles made 3 decisions as to who to peel off and card. All of them wrong.
And Barwick well within kicking distance. It could be another 30 metres out and I could say the same thing.
And this is a player they'll have to watch very carefully, Doug Barwick, because he leads very well. He's a good kick of the ball, Doug Barwick, and an obvious target for the rest of the Collingwood players on that forward line.
Won't have trouble getting the distance. Coming in for kick number 4. And the Magpie crowd behind the goal likes it. Doug Barwick's first goal, Collingwood's 4th. The Magpies leading by 10 points. Free kick going to Brennan. Paul Pios. Half back for the Eagles. Need to open the game up. Lamb. And with that solid brace on his arm after breaking it in the game against Melbourne. That's a great mark to Sumic. And within kicking distance. You would have liked that one, Bernie.
Yes, tremendous mark by Sumic. He leads so very well and has a good pair of hands. As we look at it again, Kelly just caught out of position slightly. And a strong grab there by Peter Sumic.
Sumic got 1 goal from a similar distance out at the other end. For his second to make the difference 6 points. Should get the distance. He has done. The Eagles fans like it. It's a goal. 2 goals to Peter Sumic. It's 6 points the difference in the qualifying final. 4-8 to 4-2.
And good to see the Eagles giving a good account of themselves. They're a very competitive team out there today. Battling very hard. Dwayne Lamb, the player who has been tagging Mick McGuan. He's had a dreadful day so far, but that is a great mark by Peter Sumic. Always gives a target for the rest of the Eagles side to kick to on that forward line. And look at that kicking action. Always gets plenty of distance.
Back in the centre, the margin 6 points. Collingwood's way. Irving misses it on the ground. Dacos didn't have the ball. Still they battle. Spills wide. Taken by Mullane. Kicks towards half forward. Clever mark taken by Turley. Plays on immediately. Open men to this side of the ground. Mainwaring has it. Kemp is on for the pass. There's a runner inside. In fact, 2 men on. They should get a goal here. It comes across to Heady. Collingwood have got back in numbers. The short pass comes into Sumic though. They really were at 6s and 7s. Collingwood there trying to cover people. And as a result, it was always on for the West Coast Eagles. So Peter Sumic kicking at his 3rd goal, a chance to level the scores. He'll kick from about 45 metres. He likes these sort of kicks. That is a magnificent kick. Scores a level at the park.
Well, the goal umpire didn't have to move. That kick was beautiful off the Peter Sumic. Right over the head of the goal umpire. 50 metres out, not a problem to Peter Sumic. When he's kicking with confidence, just inside the 50-metre, in fact, about 48 metres, but the goal umpire, as you can see, just watch the ball drift straight over the top of his head.
3 goals to Peter Sumic, and that's better than his average over in the Eastern States. Scores dead level. 16 3/4 minutes left in the second quarter. Richardson did well to get his kick into half forward. Barwick and McKenna. And here's this man again, Mick McGuan. An amazing half so far, and could cap it off with a goal. He's hit the post for the 2nd time.
That's their 3rd poster, isn't it? Collingwood at least.
Yes, Taylor got one, didn't he? Right at the other end.
Yep.
And Mick McGuan 2. So that makes the difference 1 point in favour of Collingwood. Oh, gee, that's again pretty close to the line, but Heady once more has grabbed it just inside the paint. Irving's the target. Manson just on, is outmarked.
Monkhurst off, Pete.
Kicks to centre wing. Moore got a hand to it. Sees it safely over the boundary line for a throw in next to the interchange area. And Damien Monkhurst with Jamie Turner now on the bench. Pretty warm out there, it would seem. So good tactics by Matthews. Irving punches the ball some 20 metres, almost as good as a kick. But picked up by the elusive Wright, and he's tackled beautifully by Kemp, and the ball out of bounds.
I think you've got to say, Pete, the pace of these Eagles is upsetting Collingwood.
Manson. Morwood. No handball straight to Richardson, who was in trouble. Was that holding the ball? It is.
Yes, good decision by the umpire. Well done, Chris Lewis. The tackling by the Eagles side has been very good in the second quarter.
Lewis, who's incurred the wrath of a couple of Magpies so far, as Gayfer stands the mark. He's kicked to the 50-metre line. Big pack of players. None can take the mark. Hart gets the hand pass from Langdon, who's started on the bench. Hart's kick long and just off target. And the operative word there, just. It did not miss by much. So once again, the score's level.
McEwen goes to the outer side. Shaw surrounded but takes the mark. Just inside the defensive 50. Pops it over the top to Gayfer, who'd run up from the back pocket. Gayfer thought about playing on. No instructed to play on. Back to Shaw. Shaw through the centre. Francis on the lead. Takes the mark alongside the centre circle. Wants to go. Feeds Morwood. Up to centre wing comes Morwood. Starcevic. Sliding mark. Left half forward. Back to Francis. Chance for Collingwood here. Francis runs to 50. They got him. As a result, the kick only went about 25 metres. And to the right. Pios can't control it. Look at Gavin Brown go in. And he ties it up effectively for the Magpies.
Well done from both sides there, especially Langdon and Kemp, who applied the tackle to Tony Francis.
Terrific quarter, this one. 4-9 to 5-3. Irving is doing well. Got it down to Lewis, who felt that one. Kicks towards the outer side. Manson goes off the ground back towards the boundary. It's out of bounds and will be thrown in.
They're under a bit of pressure at the moment too, Collingwood, Dennis, I feel. The Eagles playing very well this quarter.
Just over 13.5 minutes till half-time. Irving and Manson. Mainwaring hard against the boundary line. A very high kick back towards centre wing. It fell behind the contestants out there. Lewis had the run of it momentarily. Mullane superbly done. Mullane a high floating kick back towards half forward. No penetration in the kicking from Collingwood at the moment. Dacos away to Francis. Mowed down there by Heady. And it's going to be a free kick for holding the ball. No compassion from umpire ball.
Great stuff by Heady.
Lamb runs to centre wing. Hart. Danger signs for Collingwood at the moment. Hart, left half forward, spears the pass in. Langdon like a base runner going to second. Slides in to take the mark.
It's been well since he came on, Langdon. Livened them up.
I venture to say too far out to score. Pardon me. That is a magnificent kick. What a superb kick. Off the boot. It was great.
I would have agreed with Dennis. I thought he was too far out to score. Great kick by Langdon. Can Collingwood get the quick reply? Shaw kicks to half forward. And that's a strong mark to Starcevic. Now, he can do anything with the ball. He can kick it 5 or 50. He's got the distance with that one. And that's touched off the hands and through for only one behind to the Magpies. 12 minutes left in the half. 4-10 to 6-3. And maybe in the wash-up that 4-10 could prove costly. Brennan at the back takes the mark over Dacos. Brennan at the right half-back flank. Kemp the target, amid some attention, takes the grab. Rance. Plenty of distance with that kick. Hart was the target. Lewis went in without the ball, and Gayfer was able to tie it up just off the edge of the centre square. So a bounce to take place. Half forward for the West Coast Eagles, leading at the moment in this qualifying final. 6-3 to 4-10, a difference of 5 points. They trailed by that margin at the first change. Lewis, out of some heavy congestion. Langdon, not Langdon, but Mainwaring could have almost got a free kick there. Back to Lewis, and chips the ball short. Heady, who's covered a lot of ground, does well. In the shade of the members' stand, the centering kick. Some interference there. And it's going to be a Collingwood free kick, taken by Manson. Relays it to Kelly. Craig Kelly from full back. Right, has pushed his opponent out, comes out with the ball. Mullane in space on centre wing, fumbles, but Pios won't catch him. Centering kick from Mullane. He must have seen Gayfer out the corner of his eye, and Gayfer takes them.
Mick Gayfer goes towards half forward. Barwick, metres in the clear, takes it and goes. A long way out from goal is centering kick. Taylor outnumbered. Worsfold the mark. Again, 3 men to the grandstand wing, 2 of them. Lewis has it. He releases the ball prematurely, so we've got a one-on-one contest down the ground. They should have done better there, the Eagles. They had an extra man. It should have been a hand pass over the top to the runner. As it was, we've got a boundary throw in. Of course, it's very easy from up here. 6-3, 4-10. Irving. Taken by Gayfer to Shaw. He's been busy. Tony Shaw, one of their shining lights in this term, kicks towards half forward. Strong mark is taken down there by Barwick, and he gets a bit of treatment too and gives a bit out in return.
Gives a bit back, didn't he, Dennis? And that was a great mark by Doug Barwick.
Marvellous mark. Feisty customer. On the lead is Taylor. Good looking kick. Taylor in best position. Couldn't hang on. Irving had a very good turn. Boots towards the outer side. Foot race out there. McGrath and Morwood. Morwood favoured by the bounce. Superb shepherd came from Shaw. Great pressure Mainwaring. McGuan's over the ball now. That's holding the ball surely. No, play goes on. And we'll have a ball up. Well, there was just a rather limp hand in there from Heady. And had he wanted to, I'm sure McGuan could have slapped it out. Behind play.
Oh, gee. They're not too happy with each other, obviously.
What do they call that in Liverpool?
Kiss. Oh, yes.
Francis left it behind. On his knees is Lamb. Pulsating quarter of football this. Waters got it across to Brennan. Brennan goes to the outer side. Outnumbered out there is Hart. He'll need to go, and he does. It was 3-on-1 out there, but Hart took the mark. Sumich offers the lead. That's ignored. He goes looking for Langdon instead. Coming up strongly, McEwen. And he gets it out of bounds and will be thrown in. Left half forward for the Eagles, who lead by 5 points. It's 39-34. Just over 8 minutes remaining till half-time.
Boundary throw in right on 50. Keane and Manson. Manson over the back. Shaw. 14th possession. Mullane. Again hooks the ball across his body. Starcevic and Brennan, who slaps it out the back. Waters. Right on centre wing. Manson. One hands it down. Kelly. Francisco. He might get it back again. Over the head of Wright this time. He's been busy. Wright from inside the square. Wobbly kick. That could almost be in the back. And again.
Played the first one
this time. No love lost between those two number 17s, Barwick and McKenna. Francisco, no one standing on the mark. It's bad play from the Eagles. It might prove costly. And a good safe mark for Reds right on the line. Doing a good deal with Taylor down there. Taylor's had opportunities, mostly in the first term, but kicked inaccurately, including 2 posters. And the ball's going to have to come back. Worsfold, not happy with that. He's going to have to kick over them, obviously. Where do I stand? Where do I stand? Wright and Mainwaring. Langdon at the back. Francisco. Not a good hand pass, but Manson did well to pick it up. Kicks into the forward pocket. Chance for the Eagles through McKenna. Lamb. Kemp. Back to McKenna. McKenna at right half-back flank. Up the centre wing. Lewis was the target. He gets the slap down. Hart. It's out of bounds though, next to the interchange area, and a boundary throw in to follow. Taylor coming up the ground. Is he going to go off? It would appear so, and coming back on will be, it looks like, Jamie Turner. And Lee Matthews.
Well, that's hard on Taylor. I think he's a victim of circumstances there because they have not got the ball out of the centre.
Lamb's kick punched away by McEwen. Sumich behind. They'll get out of trouble again, Collingwood through Craig Kelly.
Kelly's hand pass, an untidy one. Russell controlled it well though. Back to McEwen, who works it out wide, intended for Wright. Clever little kick, and Wright goes across. Wasn't paid the mark. Plays on. Hooks it down towards half forward. Turley's in the road. You can feel the confidence growing in these Eagles. Wright fisted it on. Mullane is at right half back. Settles, goes in short. Starcevic on the lead. The Eagles at the present time bucking the odds. Pointed at about 5-1 for this game. They're playing well. There goes the kick from Turner towards half forward. Offhands taken by Rance to Waters. Waters goes towards the outer side. Eagles a number out there. Turley's got it. Will go by hand and does to Pios. Pios has the ball on centre wing. He storms away. Chips in short. McGrath. Hurried kick from McGrath down towards the attacking 50. Bad bounce down there for Kelly. Well done by Russell. Prasiska. Now with the run of it, Mullane. Non-stop football at the present time. End-to-end stuff. Not many goals. Francis. Turley collected him. Francis has the ball. Paid the mark on centre wing.
They've been pretty physical too, the West Coast Eagles. The other thing, a few Collingwood players would be feeling a few sore spots, I'm sure.
Tony Shaw dives on top of it. Was pushed in the back surely. And will get the free kick. He plays on immediately. Shaw towards half forward. Worsfold. Got into the back of Dacos, and Dacos will get the free. Dacos, who was in the hands of the trainers only moments ago, back on his feet and with the ball.
Well, Worsfold up very early there, and I didn't really see a lot in that, Dennis.
Well, I think it was a free kick, but...
He would have paid it?
Yeah. Not a tough one, though.
Okay. I thought it was a fairly soft free kick.
I think they're the sort of free kicks Michael Malthouse would be happy to see given away. They are attacking the ball with ferocity at the present time. Dacos hasn't got the distance. Oh, what a fine mark. A spectacular mark by Brown, but in the process, he's hurt that shoulder.
He's a champion, this bloke. There's no doubt about it. Gavin Brown, what a player.
That really hurt. Watch this as he comes to the ground. On the point of the shoulder.
Look at this again. Gavin Brown has been moved to full forward. A sensational mark. Up very high. He's okay.
Well, that's good for Collingwood. We thought for a moment a great mark, but at what price?
What a player, Dennis. Can play anywhere.
Gavin Brown, point blank range. This to put Collingwood in front by a point. And he gets it. Collingwood are 5-10, the Eagles are 6-3.
And 3 goals to Gavin Brown. A player who started his career, of course, across the centre line. He's now been moved to full forward with Brian Taylor off the ground. And golly, you don't see many better marks than that, Gavin Brown. Let's have a look at that again from a different angle. Here he goes again, up very high. That is a sensational grab. And hit the ground very hard after taking that mark.
3 goals to Gavin Brown, joining Peter Sumich as the leading goal kicker in the match. 4.25 minutes left in the half. Manson and Keane. Tony Shaw. Well, pinched by Lewis. Lewis straight down the ground. Sumich and McEwen. He'll have to turn pretty quickly, Sumich. He does. Snapshot was off target and that behind. Adds 1 point to the Eagles' tally. And levels the scores again. 5-10 to 6-4. So plenty happening. The huddle being played at half-back. As McEwen prepares to kick in. About 20 players out there at the 50-metre line. There they are. Now the break is on. McEwen goes to the outer side this time. Kemp and Wright. Kemp got a fist to it. Wright wins out. Good hand pass. On the end of it is Gavin Prasiska. And Starcevic marks on centre wing in front of Brennan. Craig Starcevic. Kick short. Turner adding some pace. Oh, that's not a mark that time. Hit well, Brown. Snapshot by Bowen. Looks good. Collingwood by 6.
Well, Gavin Brown again involved in that passage of play. So it has turned out to be a good move by Lee Matthews, taking Brian Taylor off the ground. Gavin Brown, I suppose you'd call that an assist. Look at Gavin Brown, couldn't quite get to the mark, but how quick is he in gaining his feet and feeding the ball off to Dougie Barwick.
What a quarter it's been. Collingwood back in front. Admit the challenge. Keane's on the ball. Lamb to Lewis, who's been a live wire. Kicks inside the 50. Sumich, strong mark. Well, this is classical football at both ends of the ground. And certainly the fast break out of the middle for the Eagles has been a feature in this term. Simic has kicked 3. A player of great potential. This to level the scores. It's close. I think he's missed. He has. So the margin is 5 points. Just over 2.5 minutes remaining till half-time. Collingwood started in a frenzy today. Bombarded the goals. The Eagles steadied. Worked their way on top early in the term, and Collingwood have clawed their way back. McEwen. Outright is posted this time for the Eagles. Last time they blew it on the kick-in. They went one-on-one, but the second man out, unchecked, was a Collingwood player. Strong mark by Jamie Turner, and could be 50. No, not forthcoming.
Turner and Collingwood perhaps a little bit stiff there. Langdon chips in beautifully for the mark. Langdon preferred to Malaxos for this quarter. Kick accurately. Craig Kelly has been in the right place at the right time in defence. Mullane again on his own, and one would ask why. Mullane from the right half-back flank kicks to Starcevic on the right, a little bit too quick for him. Right on the boundary line, gets around Pios. Dacos, strong grab, right on 50. Now Peter Dacos has kicked 1 goal so far. 11 possessions to date. Kick number 8. Will it be a goal? His second. It is. Well, late goals close to half-time. Doing the Collingwood cause no harm at all. And the scoreboard, the Magpies to 7 goals 10.
There's the mark again to Peter Dacos out in front of John Worsfold. Nothing much he could do, and Dacos favouring the torpedo from about 55 metres out. Made the distance easily. And we often see him use the torpedo from around about the 55-metre distance.
Peter Dacos has 2 goals. Gavin Brown has 3. Barwick has 2.
Incidentally, Dennis, 400 goals to Peter Dacos in his career.
Twice best and fairest at Collingwood. 82 and 88. And a fine player. 7-10 to 6-5. Collingwood finishing the half better than the West Coast Eagles. There's the time remaining. Got a new ball out there. They lost the last one. Lewis is doing very well in the centre square. Long kick. Kelly in from the side. It comes to Sumich. There's going to be a Collingwood free down there, though. And it will go to Russell. Russell out of defence. Members side. Manson. Strong mark in front of Waterman. Manson to Morwood. Almost half-time. 55 seconds remaining in the half. Starcevic. Rance in trouble. Hart keeps it in front. Francis is very quick. He had to be to beat Hart and then Waters. Superb play. Right. Time for a late goal for Collingwood. The last thing the Eagles want. Brown leads back in the race. Can he kick his 4th? It's going to be a snap. He pulls it back. Missed narrowly. A collective sigh runs across VFL Park. 7-11 to 6-5, and I think it'd be a good time for the West Coast Eagles to go into the locker room now. Collingwood getting right on top in the last 5 minutes. Kick in, off hands, comes to Rance. We're down to 15 seconds remaining. Lamb. Can the Eagles muster a late goal? Lewis left it behind. Right. Now Langdon to Lamb. Down to 7 seconds. Mainwaring. They'll need to move it quickly. We're down to 3 seconds. The siren's going to beat the Eagles. That's bad luck for them. Half time. And Collingwood leads 7-11 to 6-5. Mainwaring is going to take his shot. That's ambitious and well short. So, a wonderful second term, and Collingwood finished it better to lead by 12 points.
Second half of the qualifying final in 1990. Collingwood leading by 12 points from the West Coast Eagles after beating 4-5 to 3-4 in the second quarter. Off the ground from Lamb, down towards the edge of the square. Pios running at it. Doesn't get a clear tap away. Morwood will give it back to Tony Shaw. Gaffer, a fumble, might prove costly. Langdon does well, but then gets caught. Is it holding the ball? Would have been harsh were that the case. The umpire will bounce it right on 50. Monkhurst loses out to Keane. Gaffer to Russell. Short kick, Mainwaring. Will it bounce for him? It does. As Mainwaring kicks around McGuan, who had a sensational start. Langdon and Krasiska. Backup support from Russell. Out to McGuan again. Starting off the game in the third term as he started the match. Francis runs straight into Guy McKenna. A wild hand pass. McGuan again. Russell. Starcevic fumbles. Chance for Mainwaring. Out the Eagles. It's McGrath from McKenna. The bounce doesn't favour Sumich. Jamie Turner will be keen to get the run and warm up. He spent a lot of time on the bench. And a long clearing kick up towards midfield. Watters nudged his opponent out, but it's a Collingwood kick.
Starcevic comes up with the ball to Morwood. He runs through the centre, goes a long way and kicks towards the attacking 50. Worsfold out in front, got a fist on it. Pios has the run of it now. Great courage shown there by Francis. Put his body in and a strong tackle, but there's a whistle. And it's going to be an Eagle free kick.
Thank you. Mullane and Worsfold.
Two of the tough men of the AFL getting involved.
It could be reversed, that kick.
They've clashed previously, haven't they, Dennis?
I think it's going to be 50. It's going to be 50 for the Eagles.
Well, this is a quarter where they must assert their authority, both sides, so they'll be very keen at the start of this third quarter to really rub the opposition into the dirt.
There's Worsfold. It'll come back, obviously, after that fracas. Chris Lewis has ambitions to be a commentator. Had a bit to say to Darren Mullane.
Well, Worsfold giving Tony Francis a bit of a workout there, and Mullane, I think, just sticking up for his teammate.
No comment needed.
Here's Keane, aided by the 50. A high kick they contest about 30 metres out. Heady somehow got through to Kemp in the pocket. What a great goal. How did Heady get through there? 6 points the margin then. The Eagles are 7-5, Collingwood 7-11.
There's nothing in this match. The Eagles still working very hard. A big pack form there. Heady working his way, as Dennis said, through that pack and finishing off a good hand pass out to Kemp. A fairly tight angle, that kick in the finish. A great goal under pressure.
So back into the centre, 7-11 to 7-5. Kemp's first goal. And really, I think we could just about chalk it down to Brett Heady. He did so well through some heavy traffic there. McGrath kicking to half forward. Or Morwood. And he put off an impossible grab. Gaffer. Good tackle by Carl Langdon. Is that holding the ball? No. They're hard to win this afternoon. As Gavin Krasiska is the last to get up. Well, the Eagles looking as though they mean business in the first 5 minutes of the third quarter. It's going to be a bounce at half forward. Knocked down by Keane. McGrath looks for Heady again. Had a great season. Knocked off at that time. Mainwaring comes in for the assist. A perfect smother there by, it was by Morwood. Watters' kick is high. Real up and under job. McEwen bulldozes it over the boundary line. And it will be thrown at about 45 metres from the West Coast Eagles goal. Under 22 minutes left in the quarter. Monkhurst with Keane. Won by Laurie Keane. Nick Gaffer right on the boundary line. Francis over the top of Keane. That's not easy to do. Shaw. Jamie Turner with run and speed at half-back. Straight down the centre of the ground. 2-on-1 in favour of the West Coast Eagles. They should be able to do something with this. Picked up by Turley. And the pass is effective. Murray Rance on the end of it. Just off the edge of the square. Rance. Not a well-directed kick. Fisted away about 25 metres by Kelly. McKenna on right centre wing. Spiral punt kick, plenty of distance in that, but again not well directed. McEwen takes a good mark in front of line.
Big Burley, Ronnie McEwen. Up towards centre half back comes Members' side. Starcevic, almost the strong mark, it's paid. Good grab. Mullane goes in short. Scott Russell swings it out wide. Tony Shaw been very busy from right half forward. Not a good kick. McKenna's in front. Dacos in his back. No free kick.
Oh, should have been.
Dacos goes again, rakes the ball in, and we've got a whistle.
McKenna very unlucky there. Dacos right into his back and over his shoulder when he fell to the ground.
7-11 to 7-5. Magpies lead. Irving has done very well. Got it down decisively to Worsfold. Rance with time from left half back. It's a very high kick. A couple of Eagles fly. Heady, was he pushed in the back? Monkhorst did well. Lovely hand pass, release Russell. Now it's with Shaw inside the centre square. Dacos is free. Turley comes back, knocked the ball away. Barwick back towards Dacos. 45 metres out, open goal square. That's a magnificent snap. His third goal. And the margin back to 12 points. It's 8-11 to 7-5.
Yes, again, the great skills of Peter Dacos on display there. 45 metres out, not an easy shot at goal, around the corner. Tony Shaw with a lot of space. His opponent, Chris Lewis, not picking him up. Doug Barwick feeding off the hand pass. And look at that kick from Dacos. Beautiful skills, well executed on the left foot.
Three goals to Peter Dacos, joining Sumich and Brown as players to have got three this afternoon. Mainwaring gets steamrolled, nothing for it from the umpire, a play on call. Richardson just about caught with the ball underneath him, but it will be a whistle. Free kick's hard to get this afternoon. 8 to Collingwood so far, and 8 also to the West Coast Eagles. A pretty low total to date, with 19.25 minutes left in this term. Knocked down by Monkhorst. This time Mainwaring lying on top of it. Is that holding the ball? That is, for sure. Wright comes up with a free kick. Tasmanian goes out wide. McKenna, a good punch away. Gets it to Lamb. Thought about the hand pass. He should have gone for it. It comes back to McKenna, right on the boundary line. Not too much room for him. Kelly in front. Almost brought down what would have been a miraculous mark. Waters did well. Probably the smallest player on the field. The pass effective to Sumich right on 50. And now he gets dragged down by McEwen. And McEwen's gained a few metres. Umpire bringing him back now. Should be just about on the line.
There'll still be a chance from here, I think, Pete, too. He kicks the ball. Oh, well, he does make it easy from about 55 metres on some occasions.
Breeze behind him, too.
And on the right side for his left foot kicking. His natural kicking side.
Should be a gimme after all of that.
We'll see. Low trajectory kick. Kelly says he touched it. The umpire said no way, Jose. And that's a goal. Peter Sumich, goal number 4. The Eagles 8th. Collingwood leading by 6 points.
Craig McGrath off the ground. He looks as though he has dislocated a finger. He's been replaced by Chris Waterman on the ground. And there's that mark by Sumich. And there it is, just outside the 50-metre. It wasn't a great kick off the boot, that one from Sumich. Stayed very low, but it didn't matter.
Let's go down to Peter McKenna.
Craig McGrath, Dennis, has a dislocated finger. He's having it pulled back into place at the moment. He's in a lot of pain.
Here's the throw in. Won by Keane, beautifully. Down to Lamb. Keane certainly having an influence on this game. So Irving's gone to centre-half forward. Heady has been very lively. Was he taken high? No. Well done by Collingwood. They work it forward yet again. A chain of hand passes. Finally Morwood to Richardson, who goes down towards the pocket, and Russell, unattended. Well, they combined well there. The Guans come off the ground. It was Craig Kelly who did some of the early hard work with Gavin Brown. And they bought some time and space for their teammates. And finally, Scott Russell has the chance to goal. The 39th man taken in the 88 draft has missed to the near side. Recruited from Sturt. What a fine season he's had.
Still, their forward line's been very sloppy, Dennis. They haven't had much purpose. Brian Taylor still sitting on the bench. And it seems very crowded every time they get the ball down there.
Kick to the outer side, Mainwaring. Relays it and turned to centre wing. Langdon running with the flight of the ball, couldn't bring it down. The hand pass comes out to Heady. Back to Langdon. And we get it back to Kemperley, who gave the original hand pass. It's a free kick.
I think the mark was played there, Pete.
Was it?
Yep, to the mark.
I think it was about 5 metres.
Who's just come onto the ground. Well, a couple of interesting marking decisions today. Brown got a couple, didn't seem to hold them quite long enough. The umpires gave him the benefit of the doubt. But with Waterman from about 49 metres, and he's got the distance, that's an excellent kick for a goal. And just what the West Coast Eagles needed, Waterman's first, their ninth, 9-5. They trail Collingwood by 1 point.
Hart is free and short. He bypasses Hart. He'll still be in the play. No, Francisca trying to force from behind. It cleared the pack out there. Now Wright an opportunity. Left centre wing, Graham Wright pulls it down towards left half forward. Scott Russell. Hard against the boundary line. Back to the run of Wright. He's at left half forward. Long penetrating kick. Manson is down there. Used his body superbly. Manson with a man on in the square turned his back.
Brown,
Inexcusable.
nobody within 30 metres of Brown.
He and he alone trusts his kicking.
Yeah, you're about right there. I don't think anyone would be expecting a goal.
Magpie supporters immediately look up, looking for someone down the ground for him to get it to quickly, preferably by hand. Manson, can he make a liar of them? Yes, he can. Terrific goal.
Might be lucky for him that he did.
Collingwood by 7 points. It's 9-12 to 9-5.
You'd put that down as a bonus goal, wouldn't you? No one would have expected that one. Here's the mark again. Manson on the ground. Replacing Mick McGuan, who's on the bench at the moment. Taking the grab on a very tight angle. He stayed down over the ball on that occasion. Not much margin for error. A great kick for goal.
McGrath warming up. There's a free kick at centre field going to Collingwood. Monkhurst. What a great delivery of the ball that one to Francis, who runs into trouble, still got a chance and gets clear. Well played. Hooks the ball over his left shoulder. Russell and Mainwaring, great effort by the Eagle. You have to tap it out wide. He does. McKenna on the end of it. Might be out of bounds on the fall from Guy McKenna. It is, and the free kick will go Collingwood's way to be taken by Gavin Francisca. Francisca on left centre wing. 12 and a half minutes left in the term. Kick number 7. Manson again in the middle of the pack. Couldn't drag that one down. Starcevic. Ball slapped out the back to Waters, who gets slapped over or tripped up, whichever you like. He'll take the free kick inside his defensive 50 line. Dwayne Lamb. Short of the right centre wing position. To which he kicks. Morwood tries to fist it clear. Langdon runs into Russell. Waters with backup support. Goes along the boundary line, still in play. Tony Shaw might get there first. And the boundary line was too near for him, and also Waterman, who kicked the Eagles' last goal with his first kick of the day. And a boundary throw in just on the Eagles' attacking side of centre. Langdon, has he got the height? No, he hasn't against Monkhurst. Not really surprising. Slapped out the back by Heady. Waterman again, gets offloaded, and once more. No, it's not over the boundary line. Hart, a chance. Will he run out of room? No, he won't. High kick. Forwards don't like those. Certainly suit the backmen, and Laurie Keane hasn't got the pace to combat Mullane. Turner keeps it ahead of him. Mainwaring, was he tripped up? Out to Keane. Who's he going to get this to? Back to Waters, doing some useful work in the third term. Just outside the centre square. Sumich. That must be a free kick, one would think.
Not paid, Peter. Unbelievable.
He was tripped up for sure. And the Collingwood player still down. And the Magpies have cleared the ball. Darren Mullane at right centre wing.
He puts it out of bounds on the full. Well, umpire Ball seemed to have a very good angle on that one. There's Ron McEwen. He took a heavy tumble. Meantime, Turley boots it back to Waters. He can go over the top to Lewis. Needs to. Lewis now confronted by Shaw. They keep it going. This is Heady. He's played well. Great tackle though by Francisca. who sits there measuring the options. Got it to Monkhorst. Now it comes across to Mullane. Short one is on for Starcevic. Could have been holding the ball. It's jarred free. Langdon. The tempo is ferocious. Lewis across the ground. Mainwaring, who only moments ago was inspirational in defence, thought about going. Lamb is on. Hart is on for the short one. Hart threads the needle. Oh, a great tackle got him down. That was Kelly. Through the legs of Mainwaring. Right with desperation. Superb stuff. And we've got a whistle.
Ooh, that was ferocious, Dennis. That's real finals type football there.
So does that look. Bounce on the 50. The stakes are high. The margin just 7 points. Langdon dragged to the ground. That's got to be holding the ball. No free. McKenna got it out. Waters. Weaving gets it across to Heady. Can he settle and kick a goal? No, it falls in short. Turner tracks it back. And through it goes for a minor score. 9-6 to 9-12. And I venture to say in a final round game, no 5-1 chance has ever played better.
Only if they win.
Even if they lose. Here's McEwen. Goes to the outer side. McKenna will come from behind. Against quality opposition. By McKenna. Takes a strong mark and he'll pump it back in. He's taking his time, McKenna. Goes across the ground. Pios, who can kick it a long way, has it. He'll take a good kick from here. He'll kick from about 55 metres out. Would there have been a 5-1 chance in a final before Bernie? I don't think so.
Well, probably not, Dennis.
There's Pios. It's a long kick. Not quite the carry. Monkhorst comes across and thumps it out of bounds.
Under 9 minutes left in the term. We've seen some pretty good football in this quarter. 12 points the difference at half-time in Collingwood's favour, but the Eagles have fought back well. Monkhorst, not the greatest of hand passes. Moore would surely tackle, but he didn't have the ball. It's out of bounds, and nothing for that.
Nothing paid. I think Moore may have assisted that a little bit, throwing himself forward.
So boundary throw in left forward pocket for the Eagles. Monkhorst and Keane. Keane over the top. Snapshot by Hart. Goes straight up. Covered 25 metres. 12 and a half up. 12 and a half down. Mainwaring. And he should be able to do something with this. He's hooked it too much and it might scrape in for a behind. It has done. So a point to the Eagles. The goal would have been more than useful.
They're under enormous pressure though, Collingwood. Lee Matthews, I think he'd be a bit worried at this stage.
5 points the difference.
West Coast making all the play.
McEwen favouring the outer side with the kick. Right. Couldn't drag it down. Mainwaring. Langdon. Lamb. Have to kick it quickly, Dwayne. He does. And that's not a bad sort of a kick. It won't quite get there. McEwen off his hands and one behind. So 4 points the difference at VFL Park. 9-12 to 9-8. 7.5 minutes left in an action-packed third quarter.
McGrath back on the ground. Waterman off.
They've missed him rucking across half forward in the last few minutes, but they're playing very well, the Eagles. McEwen to the outer side. Heady got his hands to it. Mainwaring playing superbly at the moment. The hand pass, a rather untidy one. Lamb towards Lewis. Russell gets back deep in his own defensive area. McEwen, that could be holding the ball. Kemp got him. Play on is the call. Eagles everywhere. Lewis fends off Russell. He's hard against the boundary line. That is a magic goal. That is a magic goal.
And that's goal of the day so far.
One of the moments of the season. The Eagles a 10-8. Collingwood a 9-12. It's the Eagles by 2 points.
Well, goal of the day, Pete. I reckon that's goal of the year. Great stuff by Chris Lewis. Let's have a look at that again in replay. McEwen ducking there, ducked his head into the tackle. The umpire allowed it to go on. Good umpiring on that occasion, but Lewis tracked hard up on the boundary line, slipping on the first occasion, snapping an unbelievable goal.
Chris Lewis, a terrific goal to put the Eagles in front. Just under 7 minutes remaining in the third term. Brown dragged down. Mullane crashing through. Waters has the ball. And it comes to Lamb. Lamb goes to half forward and Langdon. Langdon wants to go. Hoisted high. Sumic is favoured by the kick. Couldn't quite get there. McEwen up from the back pocket, kicks towards the outer side, and the ball skids out of bounds.
Actually, Sumic hesitated there, didn't he, Dennis? If he'd gone hard first, he might have marked that.
Some might have been a problem there, I think.
Interested spectator, Alan McAllister, the president of Collingwood. He'll be a little worried too, perhaps. The Eagles believe they can win and make it difficult for the Magpies. Francis, Russell, oh, gee, missed it. Waters, he's had a great third quarter, hasn't he? Waters from the right half forward flank. Sumic the target, got well underneath the ball. Kemp slaps it out. Langdon snapshot from near where Chris Lewis pulled off a miraculous goal, but not this time, Carl. One behind.
Terrific quarter by the Eagles.
10-9.
Maybe they haven't read the press over there that they're underdogs, Dennis.
Maybe they didn't hear you comfortably.
Yes, I'm retracting that statement.
Monkhurst has the mark. Still in his own defensive area. Mainwaring, he's played well this quarter likewise. Turner under pressure when he kicked, so it's not a good one. The bounce though favours Collingwood in the person of Darren Mullane. Sits nicely for him. Some good shepherding, keeps Pios at bay. Up to Brown, couldn't mark it. McKenna streaming downfield, short pass up the left centre wing. McGrath with the finger taped to half forward. Almost a mark. Two Eagles crash into each other. Didn't help their cause at all. And Collingwood again will be able to run it out. Same man, Darren Mullane. Mullane from the right half-back flank. The target is Richardson. Oh, great grab. Over to Francis. Good tackle by Waters. He's sufficiently good enough to get the hand pass out. Russell, long kick down the full forward, and Barwick. Strong hands, Bernie.
Yeah, it's a good grab. And not a lot of pressure there, though, from the West Coast Eagles defenders. McGrath off the ground again. Waterman back on. And Dougie Barwick only from about 30 metres out. 25 to 30 at the most. He's kicked 2 goals, Dougie Barwick. He's been a dangerous forward.
And McGrath, of course, both former Fitzroy players. So Barwick, for what would be a valuable goal for Collingwood, he should get it directly in front, and he has got it. Barwick's third goal. 3 Collingwood players have now kicked 3, 10-12 to 10-9. Collingwood by 3 points.
Yes, and now it's the West Coast Eagles' turn. Probably they've had most of the play in this quarter, and yet they haven't shown it on the scoreboard. 4 goals kicked to 3 by Collingwood. There's the mark again to Barwick. The Eagles defenders caught out of position. Big James Manson doing well to keep Murray Rance out of the contest.
So the Magpies lead by 3 points, just under 4 minutes remaining till three-quarter time. Monkhurst up. Francis, who's been a star, his 18th possession. He and Russell have been the live wires, I think, for Collingwood in this term that have kept them in touch. This is Brennan. Scott Russell's had 18 possessions. Brennan from half back towards half forward. Big pack into the air. Lewis, Morwood had it. Lewis came away with it. Spears the pass into Kemp. Well, the complexion of the game changed in the blink of an eye there. Morwood had the run of it. Suddenly Lewis came away with it. And Kemp can kick a goal. It'll take a good kick, but the breeze is behind him. This to put the Eagles back in front. What a game it's been. From 50 metres out. He misses to the near side. The margin is 2 points. Michael Malthouse, what a job he's done. Went to the finals once with Footscray back in '85. They finished 3rd. And certainly Footscray that year had a West Australian flavour. Brad Hardy won the Brownlow. Simon Beasley topped the goal kicking. McEwen kicks in straight down the middle. They come from everywhere, but Mullane takes a superb mark. Swings it out wide, intended for Brown. McKenna is always in close attendance. Starcevic off to Brown. He's on centre wing. Gavin Brown kicks it towards half forward. Not a good kick. Barwick storming up the ground. Worsfold did best to Hart. He can go out wide to Lamb with Wright closing. Lamb's taken this mark. Runners outside. He ignores those. He goes in short. 1 of 2. Keane's got it. Wants to play on. That's ambitious, but it's a long kick down towards Sumic. McEwen got the fist. Mullane, who's been busy. Across half back. Missed by Shaw, who's gone out of the game in this term. Back to Mullane. Mullane the high kick towards centre wing. Foot race out there. Lewis got a fickle bounce. Morwood cleverly. Right on centre wing. The chip pass comes in. Dacos has it alongside the centre circle. Checks. Now he's in trouble. Sold wide into more of the same, but he does superbly. Look at the usage of the ball there as he pinpoints it to Russell. Russell goes long down towards full forward, but did not look.
Irving. Dreadful kick from Russell.
He almost picked him out, didn't he, Bernie? Certainly wasted it. Could have been a goal. Lamb back to Lewis, who kicked that amazing goal earlier in this quarter. Langdon sandwich takes a great mark. Started on the bench today, Carl Langdon. He's going to have a long shot, and a lot of the Eagles' goals today have come from a similar distance out. One of Sumic's was a gem. Langdon's already kicked one.
That was a fearless mark, that wasn't it?
Terrific mark by Langdon, and this quarter has been really, they can hold their heads up high, the Eagles. A great quarter of football.
Won't quite get the distance. Somebody's got a mark.
Ronnie
McEwen. Right on the goalpost.
Thought he was Paul Couch and sat on him.
McEwen kicks to the member stand side. Irving again, marking this time on the forward line after bringing down a mark there in the back line from Russell. Shall we say miss kick?
He's a good player, Irving. Pete.
He's played well today, Bernie, hasn't he?
Yes, a very mobile ruckman, can take a grab and kicks the ball well.
Just outside 50. How well's he kicked this one? Not quite the distance. Heady doesn't get the bounce that he wanted. Richardson goes for the boundary line, and/or Darren Mullane, who's just inside it. And Mullane, who's had a very good the last 5 minutes. I wish I hadn't said that. He's put it out of bounds on the floor. So sorry, Darren. But he should have done better there.
He's had 25 possessions, Mullane.
Wayne Lamb. Dummies the hand pass. Lewis, almost. Turner. Gets put out of it with a hit from Laurie Keane, and there's the siren.
Oh, he's hurt too, Jamie Turner.
Doesn't look too good.
Looks like ribs.
Maybe helped to his feet, but is still in a lot of pain. The siren has gone to end the third quarter, so we could be in for a thriller in the final term. I don't know how much of it Janie Turner's going to see. That remains to be seen as a worried Lee Matthews comes down for the three-quarter time huddle. 2 points the difference at the final change. Collingwood leading 10-12. The Eagles 10-10.
Well, the West Coast Eagles beat in that quarter, well on top, 56 kicks, 39 handballs, so Collingwood, a lot of those when they're in trouble.
Final quarter now from VFL Park in the qualifying final for 1990. Lewis, who kicked that miraculous goal in the third quarter, a short kick out to Turley, if in fact he can get there first. He almost got him to the back of his opponent. Lamb gives it back to him. He'll have to get around Russell. Does so, but it's a high kick. Only travels about 30 metres. McGrath involved in a wrestling match back there. Who's going to get the free? Craig Kelly, I would think. Kelly goes short. Jamie Turner's okay after copping that heavy knock right in the three-quarter time siren. Gets around Waterman. There's a one kick and kick, one goal. Tony Shaw off the ground. Not a well-directed kick. McKenna only had his strides ripped off him. Great tackle by Gavin Brown. He's won the ball. Lewis late on the scene. Should be a goal coming up to the Magpies. Starcevic centering kick. Must mark it here, but they can't. Pios in front of Mullane.
Mullane at full forward too, Pete, for this last quarter.
At the Worsfold and 10 out to Rance. Rance, it is Rance down there. Out of bounds. Not on the full, despite the appeal. And we'll see a boundary throw in. Taylor still sitting the bench with Mick McGuan. It's going to be Laurie Keane to contest with Big Manson.
How things turn around. Michael McGuan on the bench now. There's Worsfold, the hand pass straight to Barwick, hard against the boundary line. He promptly kicks it out of bounds on the full. McGuan could be injured, but 17 possessions in the first term, hardly any sense. Pios out of the back pocket, hugs the boundary line with a kick. Waiting behind is Barwick, sends it back in. Starcevic couldn't control it. Waters has played very well in the second half. Got it to the run of Brennan, who comes through midfield, and Mainwaring. Timely check, then breaks away. Kicks inside the attacking 50. Kelly's there for Collingwood. Played on. That was ambitious. Now McEwen. They had the numbers. Gayfer. McEwen again. From right half back towards centre wing. Turley. He's done well. Close to the boundary line, Craig Turley. Was it out of bounds? Yes, it was. The boundary umpire right on the scene as Richardson was breaking away.
Steve Malaxos still on the bench, Dennis, and spent a lot of time there this afternoon.
Keane and Monkhorst. One down by the latter. Russell. Francis. Both have done well. Monkhorst in the grasp. Now Waters. Well shepherded by Hart. Close to the boundary line. He proceeds to kick it out of bounds on the floor. So mistakes will start to creep into this game. Two very tired sides will be out there at the end, given the way they've gone at each other. Here's Tony Shaw. 23 possessions so far for Shaw. Higher one towards the wing. Keane over the top. Turley does well in a tight situation. Barwick, though, goes back and gets it. This is Richardson around Hart. Scrambles a kick forward inside the 50. Horsfeld comes to meet it, does brilliantly. Mullane's got the run of it. Close to the boundary line, upended. Gained about 15 metres. Lamb's over the ball now. First goal in this term will be crucial. Dacos got it to Francis. He's like Quicksilver, Tony Francis. Not a good kick, though. Across the face of goal, Manson and Rance gets it out of bounds and will have a throw-in.
Collingwood supporters to a man looking for out of bounds deliberately against Murray Rance. Would have been hard there. I think I've seen worse play, though, I must admit. Against Tony Campbell at Subiaco. That was a good one. And the Demons were over there. Could be a goal to Dacos if he can pick it up like a piece of soap. Back to Mullane, who fires 35 metres out. Won't quite get the distance. Manson looking for a free kick, and arguably could have got one. Boundary umpire will be the centre of attention, though, as he throws it in. Manson and Keane. Back to back. Keane. Lamb. Monkhorst at the back. Couldn't tag him. Lewis and Shaw. Nowhere for him to go. Not too much support for Chris Lewis. Turley out wide. Barwick in pursuit. He's picked out Hart, and Hart marking in front of Richardson at left centre wing for the Eagles. Needs to get it moving quickly. Sound of these eyes. Too slow, David Hart. Wasn't too much on offer, to be fair to him. McGrath. Heady. Can kick well. Directly in front. Sumic likes it. It's a goal. The Eagles in front. Brent Heady's second goal and the Eagles 11th, 11-10 to 10-12.
Might have to be favourites at this stage too to take the match out. I think if you look at the flow of play, the Eagles with far better skills than Collingwood. And when they get the ball, Heady there, a couple of Collingwood players going up, Norwood and Kelly. Heady stayed down, the ball spilled out the back, and a good running goal from Heady.
Well, if you believe in fairy tales, the Eagles lead by 4 points. Keane intercepted by Wright. A high kick towards half forward. Going back is Starcevic. Knocked away by Brennan. Taken by Hart. Hart swings it out wide. Turley again. He's done very well. He leads in the race out there. Well done by Barwick to give a contest. It's out of bounds and will be thrown in. The official attendance today just under 60,000. 57,546. Deceptive. They've spread out in the sunshine. Keane. Very nimble. Well done by Lamb. Lewis, all the time in the world at half-back. He can run it out. There's more run in the legs of the Eagles at the moment. This is Brennan. Up through the centre. They're enjoying this. A long kick towards half-forward. Gayfer fell over, as did his marker there, Waterman. McEwen dragged down by Waterman. Wright's got the run of it. Monkhorst, strong tackle from Sumic. Well played, McEwen. Slapped it out towards the wing. Storming up the ground with courage was McKenna. Francisco went down in the tackle. Wright appeared to be held. There was no free kick. Turner Monkhurst over the ball. This is relentless. Turner, well played, got it to Krasiska. Francis has been a star, a high kick towards centre wing. Brown goes back, and that is a splendid mark. Eyes only for the ball. He breaks away. Kicks towards half forward. It's a high floating kick. They wait an eternity. Worsfold smashes it away. Pios measures the hand pass. Keane needs to be quick. He is. Storming up the ground is Worsfold. Nobody's near him. He picks it up. He runs towards half forward. Back goes McGrath. Almost the mark. Play on is the call. And we'll have a ball up.
No mark. Craig McGrath expecting to be paid that mark, but I don't think he held it.
No, I agree with you, Bernie. Another grab might have got it for him.
Let's have a look at it again. McGrath gets the first grab. Another grab, but never controlled it.
No. Kick Collingwood's way. Lewis goes the punch. Likewise, right. Mullane, who was at full forward a moment ago. Tony Shaw from right takes the hand pass. Gafer at half-back, chips it in short. Not a well-delivered kick. The bounce favours Brennan initially. Socket away by Hart. Barwick could have got a free for a push. Richardson with composure at centre wing to Gafer. Gafer out wide. Starcevic, fresh air shot. Russell to Barwick, holding the ball.
That was terrific by Waters, wasn't it?
Yeah, great stuff. The whole West Coast Eagles team in this last quarter have really lifted themselves.
Well, Waters had a great third quarter. He was certainly one of the players that really brought the Eagles back into it. Kemp, haven't seen too much of him this afternoon. Punch away by Krasiska. Didn't work really. Goes into the arms of the Eagles. Good tackle down there. Waterman comes in, dives on top of the pack. The Eagles looking the fresher team at the moment, but we've still got 16 3/4 minutes left in this match.
There'll be a few bookmakers holding their breath at this stage, Dennis. Yeah.
5-1.
That did tip me.
Monkhurst. Waterman. Lewis, is that a mark? Yes, and snapped it up millimetres from the turf. And you'd have to say it'd be a chance of kicking it. He'll be pretty well right on 50. 17 kicks for Chris Lewis.
He's turned them around again too, Pete.
And that goal he kicked, Bernie, wasn't it? It was a gem.
Fantastic goal. But playing in the centre, Brian Taylor looks as if he's warming up to come on the ground again.
Need something up there. Lewis, 50 metres out to the City end goal at VFL Park. That might be there. It's a goal. Chris Lewis is second, and the Eagles 12th. They lead by 10 points.
Well, this looks like a fairy tale coming true for sure, because the West Coast Eagles without a supporter over here in Victoria, and yet they've played a tremendous brand of football. Chris Lewis has run Tony Shaw and Mary Dance in the centre, and finishing off with a brilliant long goal there.
Brian Taylor is back on the ground. The margin is 10 points. It seems it's the Eagles to lose. It's up to them now. Langdon caught for holding the ball. Can the Magpies come back? There's a man who can bring them back. Tony Shaw alongside the centre circle. Kicks towards half forward. Brennan gets it on the ground. Francis has run his heart out this afternoon. Untidy hand pass back to Shaw. Kicks for distance. It's not a good kick. Mainwaring up from half back. Lewis is running. Langdon is on for the next kick if Lewis can keep it alive. Langdon now has to come up and assist. Krasiska did superbly. It's out of bounds and will be thrown in. Lewis is hurt. Gavin Krasiska outnumbered 2-1. He won that battle. But at the present time, Collingwood are losing the war. Manson away to Shaw. Cleverly played to right. The speedster run down from behind by Hart. That's holding the ball. The one-handed punch will not do.
That's a great tackle by Hart. The tackling has been very impressive today, Dennis.
They are inspired, the Eagles, at the moment. Hart's kick, that of a tired man. The half volley. Heady couldn't control it. Away they come again. Shaw got it to Mullane, who swings it out wide. Starcevic up towards centre wing. Lewis seems to be okay. Starcevic, long kick. The sun is a problem down in that area. Taylor from behind. All Eagles. Hart done very well. Goes looking for Turley. Turley, who's won that war as well, in trouble this time. Russell held without it, surely. Kemp goes in. Russell will get the free kick.
Too far out to score, one would suggest. Scott Russell, 65 metres out. Taylor didn't take the mark. He's just come back onto the ground, remember. Guy McKenna did well. He'll have to kick it now, and he does. McKenna looks for Kemp. Turner beats him to it. No, he doesn't. Kemp does well. Hooks the ball back to Turley, who marks on centre wing. Not on the logo. Turley keeping it wide. The target, Carl Langdon. He has to beat two of them. The boundary line might be a trifle close, and it will be thrown in. 13.5 minutes left in the match. Left half forward flank for the West Coast Eagles.
Next goal crucial, Dennis.
Yep.
It is very crucial at this stage.
The Collingwood's chances particularly. Manson and McGrath. Manson thumps it to Heady. Turner might have been touched off the boot. Lamb. Markle free kick.
Good courage, Dwayne Lamb. Tremendous.
Especially with that arm. And we'll say recently broken. It was against Melbourne when he was accidentally kicked by Jimmy Steins. Not a well-directed kick. Manson over the top. McEwen. Mullane at right half back. It's Collingwood out of danger. They need some goals quickly, the Magpies. A juggle, but no mark. Waters was in there, couldn't handle it. Starcevic paddles it out the back. Pios, amazingly, got the ball out of a lot of players there. Langdon in front has lost out.
That's holding the ball.
Manson holding the ball, yes. No attempt to get rid of it.
What was the mark paid then?
Well, the umpire called play on.
Why?
Well, Langdon touched it first, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
I think he did, but having called play on, the umpire then decided it was being held to him. Here's the bounce. Krasiska smothered, gets his second chance, drives it to midfield. Starcevic trying to deflect it down to Brown, who does well. Looking for Wright, who keeps it going. He's outnumbered 2-1 though, Wright. Tripped, he'll get the free kick. Wright's on centre wing. Collingwood trail by 10 points. This is Mullane. Seems to be up the ground again. Taking all the time in the world, Mullane. A high kick in the Taylor direction. He's out in front of Rance. Timely fist. This defence has been superb. Worsfold to Waters. Close to the boundary line to Turley. He's been resolute to Lamb. He'll settle on centre wing, Dwayne Lamb. 12-10 to 10-12. Lamb hugs the boundary line. Langdon needs support. Heady, hurried kick. Kelly drops the mark, then fell over. Now he's in trouble. Manson, well played by the big fellow. Got down and picked it up well. Kicks it back to centre wing. Main Waring's in front. Wright forced to spoil. Out of bounds and will be thrown in. We have just over 11 minutes to play, and it seems there's a new contender in the premiership race.
Yes, and Collingwood still goalless in this final term.
Pretty warm conditions today. Richardson runs straight into Langdon and for his efforts gets a free kick. He wants to get the ball moving quickly. Great tackle by Langdon. It spills for Krasiska. Ball slewing off the side of his boot. A marking contest, none paid. Dacos. He's taken a little bit high. Centering kick from that player. Taylor. Oh yes! What a catch!
Well, we haven't seen it very often, Pete, but Brian Taylor there with a one-on-one contest into the forward line with Murray Rance. And Brian Taylor getting the front position, using his body superbly, and in the end taking a great diving mark.
Terrific mark.
So Brian Taylor, kick number 5 for his first goal, has hit the post twice, both of those in the first quarter from the pocket, but directly in front now, should goal, and does. 4 points the difference.
Most amazing behaviour by Taylor after he kicked the goal.
Exactly.
Yes, well, Brian Taylor, of course, spent a bit of time on the bench. Let's have a look at that mark again. Murray Rance couldn't do anything about that, so Taylor just using his big body to advantage. And kicking his first goal for the afternoon. He's kicked one poster and a couple out of bounds.
Brian Taylor, no love lost for Chris Lewis. 78-82. Taylor's first goal, the kick in it at VFL Park. Waters out of the centre in the qualifying final, up the half forward, almost a mark, not paid. Waterman paddles it in front of him. Opposition from Gaifer, checking him closely. The ball tracked across the boundary line. 9.5 minutes left in this match, and what a thriller it's turned out to be. Lee Matthews on the phone. Certainly be a little bit worried. That goal will certainly help the Magpies' cause. Gaifer and Langdon. Gaifer, is he holding the ball? No, says the umpire. And it's going to be balled up about 30 metres from the Eagles' goals, and temper's becoming a little bit frozen.
Still bright and sunny. That doesn't match the dispositions of a few players out there. Malaxis back on the ground, in trouble. Now right, deep in his own defensive area, breaking away, kicks out wide. Barwick is storming up, so is Brown. Brown the first to arrive. Starcevic hooks it across his body down towards half forward, and Dacos. Dacos and Worsfold. It's going to be a free kick to Dacos. No play goes on. Morwood over the ball, back to Brown. Brown the chip pass in short. Over the top comes Pios. Mullane was in front. Awkward situation for Mullane. And Pios got it out of bounds. So we're down to 8:20 remaining in the game. The Eagles lead by 4 points. Keane, Shaw, dragged down. Starcevic goes in. And we've got a whistle.
Probably off McGowan.
Craig Kelly to the dugout. It's been a great game of football, this one. Not a lot of goals, but ferocious football from both sides. Richardson over the ball. Harris there by Hart and worried out of it. Now Hart comes away. He's a speedster. He's on centre wing. Kicks towards half forward. Sumic on the lead a long way up the ground. McEwen kept his head superbly, then lost it. No, he was legged. McEwen will get the free. Waterman was goal bound.
Yeah, it would have been a goal for sure to the Eagles.
McEwen in short to Shaw. It really is a game of centimetres now. Just a little luck required. It could go either way. Turley over the top. Manson with strength. Mullane likewise. To the run of Francis. The crowd at fever pitch. Francis pumps it in. In front. Taylor was interfered with surely.
Yes.
Free kick there over the shoulder against Murray Rance.
So we've got the unlikely hero, Brian Taylor. A chance to kick his second goal in the last 5 minutes. And if he does, Collingwood will be back in front.
There's a free kick again. That first instance, that left hand of Murray Rance over the shoulder, across the chest. Definite free kick to Brian Taylor.
Brian Taylor. So long in the seconds this season. Kicks, and kicks truly. The Magpies lead. It's 12-12 Collingwood. The Eagles are 12-10.
And probably don't even deserve to be there, because really the West Coast Eagles have been by far the better side in the second half. Brian Taylor taken off the ground early in the game. There's a free kick again in replay. Murray Rance all over the top. And Brian Taylor, probably a surprise that he was even brought back onto the ground.
The Magpies coming home with a wet sail. 2 points the difference. Collingwood leading 2 goals to Taylor in the final term. Manson taps down. Good tackle by Francis. Keane might have got a nudge in the back. Likewise Francis. Lewis tries to pick it up. Plenty of pressure out there. But how unlucky were the Eagles when they had that break just about 3 minutes back when McEwen got the free kick. Could have been a certain goal. Then Collingwood goes up and gets one to Taylor. Plenty of time for them to come back. Thumping punch away by Manson. Shaw. Well tackled. Ball spills for Manson. Tackled by Lamb. Manson again. Tackled by Lamb once more. Barwick. Kicks long over his shoulder. McKenna takes the hand pass from Rance. Lewis. Langdon. Will it bounce for him? It does. Lamb. Not too much distance with the kick to half forward. Gaifer. Safe mark in defence. That's what Collingwood needed. Kicks past Heady. He's gone out wide. And Graham Wright doesn't let him down. In front of Langdon. Barwick on the run. Keeps going. Turley won't catch him. 65 metres out. Mammoth kick into the square. The mark taken by Guy McKenna. He's not wasting any time getting the ball moving. Great bump by Darren Mullane. In comes Brown. Collingwood lifting. Brown right on the boundary line. Back to Mullane likewise. Dacos nearly runs out of room. He's goal! Magnificent goal. Peter Dacos, the champ, 13-12 to 12-10.
Well, I can't believe that goal from Peter Dacos. We saw a great goal early in the game by Chris Lewis, but I think that goal certainly matched it. Kevin Brown making the most of that mistake there from Guy McKenna, and Collingwood certainly lifting a banana kick, wrong side of the ground. That is magic stuff from Peter Dacos.
Well, we've seen two of the goals of the season today. Peter Dacos getting that one. No coincidence. Brown, Mullane and Dacos involved in that last goal. Shaw through the centre. Not a good kick. Hart's got it in traffic to Turley. Given the way they've played today, the Eagles will come back. Gayfer, almost a spectacular mark. This Collingwood defence has been superb in the last 10 minutes. Morwood did it again to Krasiska. A long thumping kick back towards the half-forward line. Starcevic, fickle bounce. Away comes Brennan. Boots it back towards the Eagle half-forward line. Headies in front. Krasiska superbly over the top, fisting away. Right. Has it at half-back. Back towards centre wing. Valiant attempt to mark there from Francis. Controlled the half volley and got it out of bounds.
You feel the game swung the other way again, Dennis, too,
Yes.
in this last couple of minutes.
Momentum is back with the Magpies. There's the time remaining. Keane wrestling. Mainwaring, an opportunity now. The Eagles need a goal. Mainwaring back into the forward line. Sumic is in front. McEwen comes over the top. And out of bounds goes the fist. There's no question the West Coast Eagles have proved today they can play in this company, particularly at VFL Park. They're going to be hard to beat from here on in, regardless of the outcome today. Not a good hand pass from Kelly. Malaxis will get a free kick on the 50-metre line. Plays on quickly. Lamb down towards Sumic. Knocked away by McEwen. It's out of bounds and will be thrown in. Boundary throw in. Michael Malthouse looking pensive. The margin is 8 points. They need to make something here. Langdon, the snap is good.
2 points the difference. What an amazing finish to the qualifying final. 13-12 to 13-10.
Sure is, Pete. Not to be denied the West Coast Eagles. Great stuff. Carl Langdon getting that snap from the boundary throw in. Let's have a look at the replay again. Laurie Keane, a tremendous tap down from him. And Carl Langdon without a real lot of pressure being applied by the Collingwood defenders.
So the next goal crucial in the qualifying final. Under 3 minutes left in the match. 2 points the difference, and that's what the West Coast Eagles got beaten by here when Melbourne got the better of them 2 years back. Crowd looking for a free kick. There was none. Must come out of the centre. Morwood. Lamb gets cannoned into by White. Kemp taken down. And it's going to be a bounce at half forward for the Eagles. 2:34 and counting. Can the Eagles get the next goal?
Terrific finals pressure there from both sides. The tackling fantastic.
Crowd certainly getting its money's worth this afternoon. Keane taps down. Turner, short kick. Mainwaring, will it sit for him? It does, over the top. Got to get it down quickly. Brennan's kick to half forward. Waterman ducks the tackle, ducks 2 tackles. Can he score a goal? He's missed. Shades of Murray Renstead. 2 minutes left. 1 point the difference.
He swung the ball across his body there too, Dennis. He probably had time to really settle and have a direct shot at goal.
It's a real nail-biting finish. Under 2 minutes left. The clock's static until he kicks back in, Ron McEwen. So no time wasted until the ball comes back into play. Goes for distance and gets plenty of it. Big pack of players there, thumped away by Manson. Chance for Turley. And Mainwaring's kick slews off the side of the boot, out of bounds on the floor, and that's a break that the West Coast Eagles did not need.
He just held on to the ball just that fraction too long there, Chris Mainwaring.
And the clock continues to run. It's down to 1:33 now.
Interesting if we had a draw, Dennis.
Well, it's a possibility. Down the Eagles' end. Possession vital here on this next play. In front, Manson almost the mark. Francis keeps it going Collingwood's way. That could be the telling one. Brown got it to Morwood, who kicks towards half forward. Storming up the ground is Worsfold. He keeps it in front. Needs to release it and does. Oh, superb play. Kicked his head. We're down to 105. Turley through the middle. Long kick towards Heady. Krasiska misjudged it. Sumic nudged out of it. Wayne Waring's got it. Kicks it down towards full forward. Keane is down there. Ball is running free. We're down to 50 seconds. Hard against the boundary line, Malayan. Robert Wiley gets into play. And we've got a boundary throw in.
He's helping Collingwood too, Dennis.
Old habits die hard. So we've got a boundary throw in the pocket. A goal here and the Eagles will win. We're down to 35 seconds. Behind and we've got a tie. Langdon hoisted high. Back goes Sumic and he's taken the mark. Oh, I don't think the Eagles can lose from here. It's a question of whether they can win.
Well, it's just a question of accuracy now from Peter Sumic.
Clock ticking down.
He's in the wrong pocket. This could be a kick after the siren job. He'll take his time.
The umpire's called time on here too, Dennis.
So the clock is frozen at 17 seconds. Now it continues to run. It's down to 14. If Sumic kicks the goal, the Eagles are into the second semi-final. Peter Sumic.
We might have
He's
missed.
It's a tie.
It'll be a draw.
It is a tie. There's the siren.
It's a draw. A sensation. A draw. Now, don't ask me where that leaves us. Laurie Keane shakes his head. I think the only people rubbing their hands would be at Collingwood.
I think it leaves us with a busy weekend next weekend.
13-12 apiece. Shades of 1977 when North Melbourne tied with Collingwood in the grand final.
What a game. What a game.